Our story begins in a harbor, where men in suits surround a battered figure. Despite his injuries, our protagonist, Park Kang-ta, vigorously holds a cigarette between his lips. He grimaces in pain, but one of the men offers him time to smoke his last cigarette. Gratefully, Park Kang-ta reaches for a lighter, lighting a flame that ignites his cigarette. As smoke billowed around him, Park Kang-ta spoke to the bald man among them, acknowledging the inevitable. He requested that his brother be terminated immediately, and the bald man agreed. Regretfully, the bald man explained their orders, but Park Kang-ta interrupted him while spitting out his cigarette. He understood that they were just pawns following orders. Reflecting on his life of anger and despair, Park Kang-ta clung to the boxing world where he once shone brightly. He had the height, punching power, and star quality, which made him recognized as a promising prospect in high school, as someone who would succeed in the boxing world. At this moment of impending violence, Park Kang-ta's determination and acceptance of fate speaks volumes about his character. The shadows of the hallway echo with the weight of his past and the uncertainty of his future. As he stands, battered but unbowed, Park Kang-ta's story unfolds a testament to his resilience in the face of adversity and the indomitable spirit of a warrior. He is unable to withstand ridicule, fueled by the impulsive nature of his youth. Told that he would never box again, he completely quit. He wondered if there was another way, a chance to come back or a way to earn an income through boxing. However, he knows those regrets are pointless now. However, if given the chance once again, he would love to climb into the ring. Suddenly, there were voices shaking his mind. One mocked him as an embarrassing student, then another called him cowardly to snap him back to reality, questioning whether he was dead. A third voice dispassionately dismissed any concern for his fate, urging the others to leave. Confused, he tried to identify them. 3 panicked boys ran away, leaving a bloody young man on the ground. His eyes blank, he seemed lifeless until Park Kang-ta possessed him, and he jolted back to consciousness, his body rising to catch his breath. In that brief moment, the narrative shifts from despair to possibility. Bound by past mistakes and the abrupt end of his boxing career, he clings to a desperate hope for redemption. Park Kang-ta's arrival marks a turning point, signaling a resurgence of purpose and a chance for a second chance at life. As he stares at his trembling hands, grappling with the reality of his recent stabbing death, she questions whose body now houses her spirit. Days passed, and a man told them that those who lost the match would be sent to the mines, while those who won would stay behind. At the August Boxing Apprentice School, Instructor Nixar warned them to train as if their lives depended on it, emphasizing the importance of listening to their assigned partners. Nixar then paired Tours with Meros, Ondab with Bizin, Kizo with Damien, Johnny with Teaser, and finally Slib with Callie. He had announced that these pairings would compete next week. The stocky men laughed at Nixar's directive, clearly understanding it, while the slimmer ones, worried, questioned their captain if Nixar would send them to their deaths. Park Kang-ta, now reincarnated as a Callie, understood Nixar's strategy, pitting those with less skill against those with more. He can sense his instructor's intentions clearly, and the stakes of the upcoming match weigh heavily on his mind. Amidst the uncertainty and tension at the school, Park Kang-ta's newfound awareness as a Callie provides clarity but also raises the stakes. As he navigates this unfamiliar existence, the looming challenges of the upcoming match underscore the harsh realities of their training regime and a hierarchy within the apprentice ranks. The mines remained a dangerous place where accidents and lung diseases claimed lives even into the 21st century, the harsh environment beyond measure. Knowing this, she decided to avoid it at all costs. Suddenly, Nixar called her name, making her flinch in surprise, and ordered her to follow for a private conversation. As they walked, murmurs from the superiors questioned whether Callie was receiving special treatment anymore, to which she replied with an angry reply about her lack of training. Elsewhere, Nixar revealed that he had recommended Callie for dismissal to the owners. Surprised, Callie remained calm and asked if it was true. Nixar confirmed it, explaining that Callie lacked the physique and skill of a boxer, and the same fate awaited him in the mines. He would perish quickly. This gloomy assessment washed over him. With his weak body, he probably wouldn't last for a year. Amidst this revelation, the burden of his impending fate loomed large. The stark contrast between his fragile constitution and the demands of boxing or working in the mines underscored the harsh reality he faced. Yet, in these calculating moments, a quiet determination stirred within her to defy expectations and forge a path where survival was not just about physical strength, but also endurance and determination. Nixar's proposal struck her like a blow. He was told that Nixar would suggest to his owner that he be transferred to another master, but he confirmed his intention to compete in the upcoming match. Nixar, surprised, questioned whether he was really a Kali, given that most of them had already given up. Undeterred, he reiterated his determination to become a boxer. Her confident gaze met that of Nixar, who smiled and agreed not to press her further. He added that if she changed her mind, she could come to him any time. Leaving Nixar's presence, she pondered her instructor's doubts about her identity as a Kali. Deep down, he recognized that he was not Kali. Until recently, he was part Kangta, a gangster on Earth. Now reborn as a Kali, he sees this as an opportunity to get back into boxing. However, the reality remains, his body is weak, with brittle bones and a lack of stamina. His growth has been delayed, and his punches lack power. Despite all these challenges, a spark of determination burned within him. This second chance was not just about reclaiming his past boxing glory. It was also about defying expectations and proving his worth. As he contemplated his uncertain future in the ring, he decided to embrace this opportunity fully because he knew it was his chance to make amends and make a fresh start. Also, Kali was bullied relentlessly, which was most likely due to his weak physique that made him an easy target. This made her question why she was given a second chance with such a vulnerable body. Suddenly a voice called out from the side, and she felt the hostile gaze of her superior. Another round of torture began. Slit punched her in the face and kicked her aside, expressing contempt for someone like her. The fact that his instructor considered him an exception only fueled the hatred. Slit taunts him, mocking his boasts about his father being a champion, and suggested that he should just perish as a weak and insignificant person. Those around him looked at him with pity, but saw that he remained standing, a testament to his resilience. They recognized that under normal circumstances, Kali would have been beaten to a pulp. Despite the incessant bullying and hostility, a strong determination burned within Kali. She understood the obstacles facing her physical weakness, and the ridicule of her peers. However, she refused to be discouraged. Every insult and punch only strengthened his resolve to prove himself. This second chance was not just about boxing. It was about defying expectations and earning his place, despite the odds stacked against him. As he contemplated the unfavorable body condition he now occupied, Slit taunted him, saying that he only had to hold his face for a week. Casually, he retorted that he was preparing mines, which infuriated Slit. The bully swung his fist at him, a hard punch that seemed impossible to dodge with his frail frame. Panicked, he contemplated his options, but surprisingly, he managed to dodge the punch just in time. Surprised by his own agility, he questioned whether he had actually dodged the attack. The bystanders were equally surprised by his quick reflexes. Slit, now infuriated by his evasion, launched another attack. With renewed confidence, he anticipated the trajectory of the punch and dodged again, skillfully avoiding the next attack while closing the distance between them. He seized the moment when Slit's defenses weakened, quickly maneuvering around the larger opponent. Amidst the chaos, a determination burned within her. Despite his physical shortcomings and unrelenting intimidation, he found strength and agility. Every dodge and counterattack strengthened his resolve. It was not just about survival, but about proving his worth and defying all odds. In that difficult moment, he realized that maybe, just maybe, his frail body held untapped potential waiting to be unleashed. After landing a punch right on Slit's chest, which sent him staggering backward, the other fighters looked on in amazement. Furious, Slit grabbed his shirt and berated him as weak, then viciously punched him in the face with a powerful punch. As the other bettors left, Slit reprimanded him for his arrogance. Meanwhile, the onlookers who had observed the altercation from the start lingered for a while before turning to leave, leaving her alone on the ground, nursing her injuries. Despite the pain, he found himself smiling and laughing out loud. He then realized how important attributes like hand-eye coordination and reflexes are in boxing, abilities that allow him to see every subtle movement and dodge incoming punches with precision. Confident in his newfound insights and abilities, he was determined not to end up in the mines. He vowed to win and ensure his survival. Recalling the historical events of 20 years ago, an uprising by armored gladiators that even ordinary troops found difficult to quell, he drew inspiration from their toughness and determination. As he reflected amidst the pain and triumph, he realized that his strength lay not only in physical prowess, but also in the mental fortitude and strategic thinking necessary to face future challenges. With this newfound clarity and determination, He welcomed the upcoming trials with renewed vigor, determined to carve out his place in the demanding world of boxing. The Empire, after barely suppressing the rebellion, finally abolished the slave gladiator system, marking the birth of fighters like him. In this world, the spectators only enjoyed fights where the opponent is destroyed with fists, a reality that made his fragile body vulnerable to injury. Despite advice to slow down due to fatigue, he insisted that he was fine, because he knew that to survive in such a brutal place depended on strength. Moments later, Nixer intervened, halting their activities. Tired and frustrated, she struggled to catch her breath, reflecting on how she used to perform better in the past when she drank or smoked. Meanwhile, Nixer observed him with confusion, pondering how the boy who had always lagged behind could now be in the middle of the pack. If Callie had shown this kind of determination before, Nixer mused, they might never have considered letting him go. This transformation made Nixar wonder what had changed in Callie. Amidst physical and emotional exhaustion, she understood that adaptation and resilience were now her allies. The rebellion of the armored gladiators of the past echoed as a testament to the enduring spirit required to overcome challenges. With every heavy breath, he reaffirmed his determination to survive and thrive in this unforgiving world, where his every step was a testament to his newfound strength and determination. Nixer overheard the conversation among the men, discussing Callie's unusual effort that day despite having been soundly defeated. One man speculated that Callie looked different since receiving a hard blow to the head. Intrigued, Nixer insisted on getting details about Callie's injury, which surprised the men. They recounted how Callie had been viciously attacked by another group, leaving him covered in blood from head to nose. They feared Callie would not survive, given the severity of his injuries. Nixer pondered whether this incident had changed Callie, sensing contact with death. Deciding to monitor Callie's progress further, he instructed his men to continue with 50 more rounds, which they dutifully agreed to. Later that afternoon, during individual training, Callie observed everyone's strenuous efforts to avoid the fate of going to the mines. He realized that he had to match their determination, but he also realized the limitations of his current physical condition. His frustration peaked when he realized the ineffectiveness of his training regimen. His frail body lacked the strength to deliver significant offense in the ring. Despite his determination to survive, he faced the harsh reality that without physical improvement, his chances were slim. However, in the midst of this challenge, a new resolve emerged within him, fueled by the desire to prove himself and defy the odds in the brutal world he now inhabits. He understood the importance of targeting critical areas, such as the jaw, as he knew that a well-placed strike could rattle an opponent's skull and knock them out. Perfecting his jaw targeting became his focus. During her training, a man interrupted, questioning why she did not train like everyone else in their camp. Callie explained his approach, suggesting a different style that mirrored the way their gym practiced. The man took it personally, emphasizing their veteran status in the fighting world long before Callie's time. In this brutal environment, boxing resembled heavyweight slugger combat in his previous life, but such training methods did not suit his current physique. Ordered to lift a log repeatedly, Callie complied until someone intervened, placing a hand on the man's shoulder to stop him. Callie reflected on the dynamics of the camp, where tradition clashed with her need to adapt. She knows that survival requires more than just following established routines, but also innovation and resilience. As she pondered how to bridge these two worlds, she decided to find a middle ground between tradition and innovation, forging a path that could sustain her in this unforgiving arena. Nixer approached Callie, asking if he learned his boxing style from his father. Callie nodded emphatically. Nixer recognized that if it was the champion's style, there must be valuable lessons to be learned from him, encouraging Callie to continue that approach at their training camp. Nixer recognized him as a future champion, though not a boxer. Nixar wondered if Callie's father had instilled other training methods in her, considering the marked change in Callie's demeanor since the incident. As the sun began to set, Callie leaned wearily against a tree, feeling exhausted from her day's activities. Her weakness was obvious, reminding her of her physical limitations in this unforgiving environment. Her hunger interrupted her thoughts, and she spotted an apple hanging from the tree. Biting into it, she savored its sweetness, feeling refreshed and alive. Unexpectedly, someone approached and asked her where she was under the apple tree. Callie hesitated for a moment before explaining herself, realizing how isolated and vulnerable she felt amidst the scrutiny of others in this strict training camp. However, the taste of the apple lingered on her lips, a brief consolation in a harsh world where every ounce of strength and skill counted. He was surprised to find a noblewoman observing him. Struggling with nerves, she tried to speak but faltered. The lady, unfazed, ordered him to pick an apple for her and join her on the ground, as she wanted one too. Hastily, he descended and offered an apple. The lady took a bite, praised its taste, and then questioned whether he was aware that this orchard belonged to a noble family, while emphasizing the consequences of getting caught. She noted his sincere ignorance and gently warned him of the potential consequences if he were found out. Despite the precariousness of the situation, she nervously admitted her lack of knowledge, understanding that any misstep could jeopardize her chances of competing. The lady introduced herself as Azalea Auguste, daughter of Baron Gedolf Auguste, her master. The woman ordered her to say her name, and she hesitantly replied, Callie. Expressing a degree of leniency, she stated that she would overlook his current actions because of the apple he had given her. However, she firmly warned that if he was caught again, she herself would administer the punishment. Her unexpected kindness and warning left a deep impression on him, underscoring the precarious balance he faced between survival and the rigid social hierarchy among the nobility. As he absorbed Azalea's words, he resolved to tread more carefully in the future, realizing the risks that lurked around every corner of his new and challenging life. After Azalea instructed her to leave immediately before anyone else saw her, Callie thanked her and left immediately. Relieved that the incident almost happened. As she watched Callie run away, Azalea noticed her small stature and apparent weakness for a boxing slave. Contemplating the apple she was given, she pondered her name and what had happened.